Hello, dear listener. Today I bring you a tale from the depths of American folklore, a chilling legend known as Fair Charlotte. This story has been whispered through the generations, a cautionary tale told to children on cold winter nights. But beware, for this is no ordinary ghost story. This is the haunting legend of Fair Charlotte, a tale that begins in the early 19th century in the remote hills of New England. Once, in a small, isolated village surrounded by dense forests and icy rivers, there lived a young woman named Charlotte. She was renowned throughout the region for her unparalleled beauty, earning her the nickname Fair Charlotte. Her golden hair cascaded like silk, and her eyes sparkled like the purest blue sapphires. Despite her beauty, Charlotte was known for her vanity and her cruel heart. She reveled in the attention she received, often toying with the affections of local suitors. One fateful winter's night, Charlotte and her family were invited to a grand ball at a neighboring estate. The journey was long and perilous, with snow-covered paths and frigid winds. Her mother pleaded with her to dress warmly, warning her of the dangers of the cold. But Charlotte, in her vanity, refused to cover her elegant gown with a heavy cloak. She insisted on riding in the sleigh without a blanket, so that everyone at the ball could see her in all her splendor upon arrival. The sleigh ride was long and treacherous, the wind biting at Charlotte's exposed skin. Her suitor, Charles, drove the sleigh, constantly urging her to wrap herself in a blanket. But Charlotte stubbornly refused, laughing off his concerns. As they traveled deeper into the night, the cold grew more intense, and Charlotte's laughter was silenced by the creeping frost. When they finally arrived at the grand estate, Charles turned to help Charlotte out of the sleigh. To his horror, she was lifeless, her body frozen solid, her once radiant face now a pale, icy mask. The partygoers were stunned as Charles carried her frozen form into the hall. The warmth of the fire could not revive her. Fair Charlotte was dead, a victim of her own vanity. After her death, the tale of Fair Charlotte spread throughout the region. But this is where the story takes a darker turn. It is said that Charlotte's spirit, unable to find peace, roams the forests and icy roads of New England on cold winter nights. She appears to travelers as a beautiful, ghostly figure, dressed in her ball gown, her golden hair flowing in the wind. Her eyes, once filled with life, are now hollow and haunting. Many have claimed to encounter Fair Charlotte on those cold, desolate nights. Those who have seen her describe a chilling presence that sends shivers down the spine. She appears suddenly, her figure emerging from the darkness, her blue eyes locking onto her victims. Her ghostly form floats just above the ground, and she is often seen beckoning travelers to follow her. One such encounter was recounted by a man named Thomas, a local farmer who had heard the legend but dismissed it as mere superstition. One frigid night, as he traveled home from a nearby village, he saw a figure in the distance. As he approached, he realized it was a young woman in a flowing gown, seemingly unbothered by the freezing temperatures. "Who are you?" he called out, but the figure did not respond. Instead, she turned and began to glide away, looking back at him with those haunting hollow eyes. Against his better judgment, Thomas followed, drawn by an inexplicable compulsion. As he followed her deeper into the forest, the cold seemed to intensify, and he felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Suddenly, the figure vanished, and Thomas found himself lost in the woods. Panicked, he tried to retrace his steps, but the snow had covered his tracks. He wandered for hours, the cold seeping into his bones, until he stumbled upon an old abandoned cabin. Inside, he found a worn blanket and a small, flickering candle. As he huddled for warmth, he realized he had narrowly escaped becoming another victim of Fair Charlotte. Another chilling account comes from a woman named Margaret, who as a young girl heard the tale from her grandmother. Margaret's grandmother had warned her never to venture out on cold winter nights, for Fair Charlotte might appear and lead her astray. One winter evening, as a storm raged outside, Margaret heard a faint knock at the door. Peering out, she saw a beautiful young woman, her golden hair and blue eyes unmistakable. "Please, let me in," the woman pleaded. "I am lost and cold." Remembering her grandmother's warning, Margaret hesitated, but her compassion won over her fear. She opened the door and the woman stepped inside. As she did, the temperature in the room dropped dramatically. The woman's eyes met Margaret's, and she whispered, "You should have left me in the cold." In an instant, the woman vanished, leaving behind a chilling frost that spread across the room. Margaret's heart raced as she realized she had come face to face with Fair Charlotte. The experience left her with a deep-seated fear of the winter nights, and she never forgot her grandmother's warning. The legend of Fair Charlotte doesn't end there. It is said that her spirit is eternally searching for something, though no one knows exactly what. Some believe she seeks warmth, a reprieve from the cold that claimed her life. Others say she searches for a way to undo her vanity, to find peace and rest at last. But those who have encountered her know one thing for certain. Her presence brings an icy dread that lingers long after she is gone. One peculiar aspect of the Fair Charlotte legend is the haunting melody often associated with her appearances. It is said that on nights when she is near, a soft, eerie song can be heard on the wind. The tune is both beautiful and sorrowful, a reflection of Charlotte's tragic fate. Those who hear it are often entranced, drawn to the source of the music, only to find themselves face to face with the ghostly figure. A young musician named Henry once recounted his experience with Fair Charlotte's melody. While traveling to a neighboring town for a performance, he heard a hauntingly beautiful tune carried on the wind. Unable to resist, he followed the sound into the woods. As the music grew louder, he saw a figure in the distance, a woman in a flowing gown, playing a delicate instrument. Enchanted by the melody, Henry approached, but as he drew near, the music abruptly stopped. The woman turned to face him, her hollow eyes piercing his soul. With a whisper, she vanished, leaving Henry alone in the woods. Shaken, he found his way back to the path, but the melody haunted him for the rest of his days. The story of Fair Charlotte serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of vanity and the unforgiving nature of winter. Her tale is a cautionary one, passed down through generations to warn against the perils of superficial beauty and the importance of heeding the wisdom of loved ones. Despite the countless encounters and chilling tales, the true nature of Fair Charlotte remains a mystery. What drives her spirit to roam the cold winter nights? Is she searching for redemption, or is she forever bound by the vanity that led to her demise? The answers remain elusive, adding to the eerie allure of her legend. And so, dear listener, the legend of Fair Charlotte continues to haunt the cold winter nights, a ghostly reminder of beauty's fleeting nature and the eternal consequences of vanity. As you sit by the warmth of your fire, remember the tale of Fair Charlotte and the chilling fate that awaits those who disregard the warnings of the past. Stay warm, stay vigilant, and beware the haunting melody of Fair Charlotte. For you never know when her ghostly figure might appear, beckoning you into the icy embrace of the night.